Well, hey there. Welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Welcome to Plathville. This is season 3, episode 4. I'm going to lose my mind. And that's how I felt in watching this episode. I just finished watching this episode. And my biggest issue is how Olivia handled things with Ethan. Let me be clear. I am no longer a fan of Ethan Plath, but there were times where I feel like he did try and compromise. Maybe not a lot, but a little. Because if he at one point, I can't remember when I saw it, I don't remember if it's this episode or the preview for the next one. If he at some point says, can we look for a place outside of Tallahassee? And she says no and doesn't even pause to think about it, then I don't understand why you can't see that he is apprehensive as well. What often frustrates me about this whole dynamic is that both of them are guilty of the same thing at various points that they're accusing each other of, that both of them are saying that they've made certain sacrifices while not realizing the sacrifices that their partner has made. Because I understand Olivia has made sacrifices in moving. I get that, by having to deal with his family and things of that nature. But it seems like those are some of the things that you guys agreed to before you even came on our screens. Her reason for wanting to leave is mainly because of his parents, not because of a job, not because of them getting a financial advancement. It's because she doesn't want to be around his parents, and so that they could be more social. The same way you drove an hour to go skating, drive an hour to do other things. This is about her trying to get away from Kim and Barry and feeling like this is going to fix their issues when they have other issues. They just aren't really realizing it, because right now our main argument is this. Olivia is not as toxic as Kim, but there are things about Olivia that come across as selfish to me. I also did not like the way she handled the conversation at the end of the episode with Mariah, because you're going to volunteer your services and they say, oh, but wait, are your parents going to be there? I didn't like that. But do me a favor and hit the like button as I jump into this episode. That felt like one of my sister wife rants. So the episode begins with Micah showing up at his modeling agency to meet with a dictation coach. He supposedly desires to act. So the agency is having him work with someone to kind of eliminate some of that country twang, right? As well as learn other accents. So it's just another example to me of how willing Micah was when all of this started to get out of Cairo and do whatever he needed to do in order to do so, while his brother Ethan is just trying to stay nearby. So we see him do a whole bunch of exercises and he enjoys it and he does well. And as I was watching this, I couldn't help but think of my childhood, because I was very, very self-conscious of the way that I spoke, right? Partially because my parents, if you're new here, my parents are Jamaican. I am first generation American in my family. Like not all of my first cousins, because some of my first cousins were born there. But a lot of my first cousins are first generation Americans. With that being said, at home, what we're taught, at least in my household, the way that I was taught to pronounce certain words is very different from the way that my teachers used to want me to pronounce them. So I was often corrected in school on how to say things, which is why sometimes you may see me pause, because it's like, okay, how do I pronounce this? And I know there are a lot of things that some may say I pronounce wrong. I was taught to spell color with a U. You don't spell color in the United States with a U. Little things like that, right? So with that being said, I was listening and I was like, oh, this is, this is cute. Because this is just, it for whatever reason, I don't even know why. It reminded me of my childhood. Even when I was just thinking about it then, it reminded me of that. Okay, let me get back to my notes. Back to Micah. So we later see that he and Olivia, let me say he enjoyed himself there. I don't remember if I said that. We later see that he and Olivia meet up at a shelter to do this calendar shoot. The purpose of this is to raise awareness about adoption, as well as maybe get some money going into the shelter. So she talks about how Micah is so different from Ethan because Micah is adventurous and Micah is open to try new things. And Micah actually wants to get out of the area while Ethan doesn't. She wants Ethan to try more. And Micah tells her, change is hard for him. He's actually made some changes, but it's going to take him a while to figure it out. Like, you just need to be patient. Bottom line to me is that Olivia is changing at such a fast pace that she expects for Ethan to follow right behind her. And it doesn't seem like that's who he is. Even now, after all these years, he still seems a little apprehensive about things. And that's okay. Everybody's not designed that way. This goes back to making sure that you know your partner and what it is that you're willing to accept and what you aren't. So we then see Micah in a bunch of different outfits. He got his chest out in one. He has a cowboy hat on in another. He's posing with the cat here, posing with the dogs here. Got the little party blower here. It's a bunch of different animals and it's a cute shoot. It is their first time working together. Olivia's normal, what is the word I'm looking for? Her niche, what she's really good at is brides and weddings and things of that nature. She's never done animals, but based on the little pictures that we did get a glance of, it seems like she did a really great job. So we go from that to Kim showing Lydia these changes that she's made on their rental website. She wants to market the farm as a wedding venue, and she's proud of herself because she was able to do this one on her own. In the past, Olivia's who kind of got her better with technology. Like Olivia showed her how to do a website when she was doing a family blog at one time, and Olivia would have helped her navigate this. So she's just talking about how, she and Olivia used to be close and they would talk and things of that nature, and she misses being able to call and speak with them. I've heard different things, but I wonder what actually started the change. Like, how do you go from being close enough to where you and Olivia are talking outside of Ethan and where Olivia is helping you, to you having such a problem with Olivia and feeling like she talks bad about you and things of that nature, as if you don't do the same to her? So Lydia is all excited because she's like, yeah, the weddings. And then maybe, when it's time for mine, we'll be really great at this and I can tell them what to do. And Kim is looking at her like, she's a little too excited. Like, oh, Lydia, why are you so happy? She's not allowed to be happy. Why are you so happy? What are you so happy about? And she thinks it's about that boy. Kim says first her hesitation was that, she spoke to him too much. At least that's what she told us before. Now her hesitation is that they live too far away. I want Kim to make up her mind. Make up your mind. Because you were okay with him living far away initially until you saw how much they were speaking, then you had a problem with it. Now you think that he lives too far away and she needs somebody that's close by. So she then's like, when's the last time that you talked to him? When's the last time that you spoke to him? When's the last time that y'all text? And she tells her, it was several weeks ago. And she's like, oh, okay, good. My girl. She's delighted to hear that it was a few weeks ago. It goes from a few weeks to later on when she's in confessional. Lydia says it's been some months, but I'm guessing it's the timing that they recorded it. So Lydia lets her mom know, like, look, nothing between us has changed. It's still us not really communicating. Lydia says it's taken a lot for me not to reach out and touch him. It's taken a lot for me to not call him or to text him. And Kim's like, you know what? You just need to get to know someone in person. Get to know the real them. Even in person, you may not get the real version of somebody. I'm just saying. I was with somebody for many, many years, and I did not get the real version of them. All these years later, I'm still finding out about them and things about them. And I haven't dealt with them in a long time, but it amazes me how long people can put up facades. So just because you're in front of someone doesn't necessarily know that you're still going to know the real them. You got to have the hard conversations sometimes, or be in various situations in order to see the real person. So Lydia says that she's going to honor her parents as the Bible says she's supposed to, but at some point she's going to, maybe do her own thing. She still hasn't talked to him per their request. What she has done, though, is she's found a way around it, in my opinion, because she's been talking to his sisters, and every now and then she'll be like, how's your brother doing? Or what's he up to? So she's checking in on him. I see you, Lydia. We go from that to Ethan and Olivia. They are not on screen, but they are mic'd up, and they are arguing yet again about this daggone move. It is so draining to me, and I'm not even in a household. This time it's about a bookcase, because he's asking if they can get rid of a bookcase, and she's saying it's up to you. And he's like, no, well, you need to let me know what you want to do, because, you got a lot of books. And I'm sure if we move, you're going to want to put your books somewhere. I'm just like, are y'all really arguing about a bookcase? It's because they got to downsize. She's frustrated because she's trying to declutter, and she's saying that every time you say yes or you want to do something, then you come back and you want to keep it, and I'm trying to let things go. He, of course, is over it, and what he proceeds to do, rather than telling her anything, is that he walks out of the house and doesn't tell her where he's going. The way that he always is avoidant and shuts down would get on my nerves. That would not be someone that I could deal with. And here's the thing. I have dealt with people who don't want to keep going back and forth. That's fine. But at some point, there needs to be some resolve. There needs to be some resolution. And it seems like they never had that. But that also goes back to the Plaths, a lot of them not knowing how to deal with their feelings because they haven't been taught how to regulate those emotions. So he leaves Olivia and is walking to his sister's house, which he could simply say, but he chooses not to. He goes there because apparently he was already supposed to be going there to be helping her because she's struggling with her computer. He isn't an IT whiz, but he is a service tech for, I think he said a copying company or something like that. I have computer company here, but I think it was a copying company. So he thinks he can help her. Mariah knows that Ethan isn't in a good mood. And she knows when he's in a good mood, because when he's in a good mood, he's more jokey and things of that nature. And lately he hasn't been in a good mood. And she knows some of that is because of his struggles with his wife. But she's trying to lighten the mood by making jokes and giving him compliments. And he is completely ignoring her because he's so wrapped up in the text messages that he's getting from Olivia trying to address their argument. Their communication sucks because all Ethan had to do was tell her, I promised my sister that I was going to be over there to help her with her computer. When I come back, we can talk about this. But he didn't do that. He just left as another way to probably piss her off by walking out on her. And I'm sure if she knew where he was, she wouldn't have been constantly texting him, right? So we go from that to another day. Micah, Max, and Mariah are heading to meet Ethan and Olivia for roller skating. Now, Max's car has the good vibes, great energy, laughing, a whole bunch of cheek kisses going from Max to Mariah, and Micah just in the back, just being a third wheel. We cut from that to Ethan and Olivia's car. And the moment they showed us the shot, I was like, man, these two are so depressing. They really y'all are miserable. So Olivia feels like she can show him some fun in this larger city that they're going to be moving to, in hopes that he'll be more open to it by having them going skating. As they're driving, there's no communication. There's silence. And Olivia makes mention of it to Ethan. So she's like, what are you thinking? What's in your mind? So he's like, sometimes, do you ever feel like life is too complicated? Like there's so much to do in such a short time. It's giving, he feels very overwhelmed. That's what it's giving to me. He doesn't understand how people can manage to get ahead of everything when there's so much to be done, because he has work and he has to fix things around the house and they have to find a place. And he feels like there's a lot that he has to do in order to make like positive, successful steps forward. It's very much so giving, I don't know what I'm doing and I need to figure out something. And then on top of I'm not knowing what I'm doing, I'm struggling with you. That's what it's giving to me. So Olivia's like, what's positive or successful in your mind? So he says a great workspace setup, creating products of value. He says, I get that life isn't about things, but if you don't do anything when you're young, you're not going to have anything when you're old. I get where he's going with that. He's saying, like, if I don't figure out a way to bring in money into this household, we're not going to have anything. Yes, there's way more things that he could be concerned about, but she asked him what he was thinking about right then. That, of course, is not what Olivia wanted to hear. And because it's not what she wanted to hear, she has to make it be known what she wanted to hear. And in my opinion, she kind of makes it about herself. You all tell me what you think. She is bothered by the fact that he mentioned all those things and he didn't mention anything about their relationship. She feels like if you're talking about positive strides or whatever and successfulness, you should think about their relationship as well, because that would have been the first thing on her list, is that they would have a better, healthy relationship. Make sure her relationship is healthy and good. And that is on you, Olivia. That's what you want. That's not what he wanted in that moment. He's being honest with you about what he wants. So don't complain about him shutting down and then proceed to bring up a topic and then get mad at his response and then be upset if he's going to shut down again when you know in minutes you're about to meet up with his siblings to have fun. You see what I'm saying here? Make it make sense. But I think that the problem is that they're in two different places and he's being avoided, because he said it himself. Part of the reason why I didn't bring up the fact that, our relationship be good or whatever is because I didn't feel like going down that route right now. I didn't want this to turn into an argument. So she feels like I've made so many different, sacrifices and so many different compromises, not sacrifices. That's Cody. I made so many different compromises for you. Me even thinking about being in an apartment in Tallahassee, that's a huge compromise. Living in an apartment is a compromise. It's a compromise for him too. Being close to his family is a compromise. But he doesn't want to be in Tallahassee, so that's a compromise for him too, because he's saying he doesn't want to be in Tallahassee. He doesn't like Tallahassee. Out there, he doesn't feel like getting an apartment is a space that he can work in. He's going to have to do all these extra things and figure out where to move his cars and blase, blase, blase. So she says she can't do a small town so close to his parents, but he doesn't necessarily want to stay in Cairo, but he doesn't want to move that far away either. Yeah, they're all over the place with what they want to do. I don't think that they're hearing each other, and that's part of the problem, as I said earlier. So they arrive at the skating place, and Ethan gets out of the car, and she's like, where are you going, Olivia? He's going in the skating rink. Y'all have reached your destination. He says he's not going anywhere, but he's going in the skating rink. So, he can't get into that building fast enough. So when they first arrive, everyone can feel that Ethan's energy is off. He doesn't even wait on anyone before he puts on his skates and goes. Olivia joins Ethan and the energy quickly shifts because she's like, Ethan, can you hold my hand as we and help me skate? And he's like, yeah, I can. And we can see for a moment that they're having a good time. Micah is enjoying himself. There's a few falls, mainly, I said a few. Mariah was falling left and right. By the next day, that girl probably had bruises all over her body. And it's a good thing that there were film crew there, because somebody might think it was something else. Like, she was falling and falling hard. But everybody, including Ethan, is enjoying themselves. And he ends up telling Olivia that he's having a good time and he wants to come back again. He says to us, he's so used to not having fun that he often doesn't care to have fun. That makes me wonder, like, have you been so used to not having fun since being with Olivia? Or has it been like in this recent year since the dynamic has changed between you and your siblings and your parents. He said, then I have fun and I realize I should have done this already. And he admits that Olivia does bring a lot of joy. She's good at that when it comes to their marriage. He admits that he's stubborn, that he doesn't like new things. She tells him that it hurts her feelings when he's a jerk about moving, and that the moving is going to help their marriage. But that is the problem, because they're putting so much energy into the issues with his parents. You guys have not had an encounter with his parents for how long? So can we really keep blaming the parents? Your fundamental problem at this point really isn't the parents. It's that you're two different people and it's time for y'all to split. It just is. That's my opinion. Tell me yours. So he promises for the umpteenth time that he's going to do better. And then we see them, argue about how much they don't argue. Or let me not say argue, disagree about how much they disagree. So the next day, Olivia heads to Mariah so they can kind of hang out a little bit. Mariah lets her know she is working on a gig. Olivia's like, oh, okay, are you looking for people to play with you? Because, I'd be happy to play the keyboard for you. And then maybe you can get Micah in or, have, us backing you. That, of course, excites Mariah because Mariah doesn't even want to be on the stage by herself. So after getting her hopes all up, Olivia is like, yeah, do you plan on having your parents there? So she's like, yeah, I want my siblings to be there. And my parents too. So yeah. So she's like, I'll do it. But if your parents are going to be there, I don't really know. I don't know. She tells us that breaks her boundaries. Then she tells her, I don't want to put you in a weird place and make you feel like if they're there, like then I can't be, or if I'm there, that they can't be there. If I'm there, what am I trying to say? I don't want to put you in a weird place where you feel like if I'm there, then they can't be there. I want you to do what you want to do, but I don't know if I'll be down with your parents being there. You're basically telling her you don't want her parents to be there. Because it's going to cross my boundaries if you let your parents, the people who I know that you're trying to connect with. She doesn't say this, but the people that she knows that Mariah is trying to have a closer relationship with, the people that she knows that Mariah will have to have there if she ever desires for her siblings to be there. The people that she's trying to work on repairing her relationship with, you don't want them to come, but you're not obligated to have me there, instead of them. There's going to be more concerts and they could just come to one of those and I'll just help you do, this first one, that's what I'll do. Why did you even offer to help? If your conditions were going to be that her parents couldn't be there, then you shouldn't have offered to help. That should have been your first question, is whether or not you plan on having her parents there. And based on her yes or no, then you didn't need to say anything else. And I feel like Olivia sometimes does this. And when it comes to Team Plath or Team Olivia, at one point I was Team Olivia. Right now I'm Team no one, as some of y'all say. Team Lydia. I just feel like it's wrong. It's wrong of her to put that on somebody who already struggles with making certain decisions and confrontation and things of that nature, when she clearly told you that she would like for her parents to be there. That's how it started. And it went from that to, oh, well, they don't have to come to this one then. Yeah. But you guys let me know what you thought of this episode. If there's something that I missed that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. I'm on the road to 3,000. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, like, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and do that for me. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Until next time.